Hello, so we are now back for the tonal part. So what we are going to do is we're going to concentrate on the kind of head of the jellyfish and some of the tentacles that come down here. We're going to leave all of these square tentacles in the middle because we are going to do a Zentangle pattern on them. I've got my usual HB pencil, like I said before on a previous video. If you only have a HB pencil at home, don't worry, just use that for shading. If you do have a 2B, HB, any of them, you can use that for shading because they are better. But I don't expect you to go out and kind of buy shading pencils. But if you have them at home or you have older siblings or anything like that that have done art, you may have some of these lying around the house. So I'm going to use my HB just to draw out the pattern. So as you may have realised that on the top of this jellyfish, there's a pattern, so I'm just going to turn it to the side so it's easier for you to see. And this pattern kind of goes up in a dome shape. So what I don't want you doing is just drawing straight lines down like this, because it goes in a dome, kind of like we did with the fish before. It's got contour lines we did before. It goes in the motion of the jellyfish or in the line with what it's supposed to be wrapping around, and this gives the illusion of it's being 3D. If you do it straight across, it won't do that. Okay, so the first one is like a double pattern, and you can see I'm kind of drawing a curved line to go up. The next one goes up here, like so. The next one is less curved because it's going straight down the middle. Then you have this one, and some of them are a bit wiggly. Like this one here is a lot more wigglier. And then the very last one that comes over here. There we go. So what I'm going to start doing is, as you may have realised when you're looking at the jellyfish, this bit down here is all very, very dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draw parts in now with my 2B, but you can do it with your HB like I said before. And I'm going to go and do the darkest areas first. So I'm going to go all the way up here. And you can do this with a HB, again, like we did on our recap. To be able to get a darker tone, you just need to press harder with your pencil. That's all you've got to do. Then it's going to go across slightly. And this bit gets a bit thicker. If you want to draw this in beforehand, before shading it, that's totally up to you. If you feel confident enough to go straight in with your HB pencil, that's totally up to you as well. I do not mind. I'm just going to grab a piece of paper, especially if you're right-handed. You may get this if you're left-handed as well. If you put a piece of paper across what you're doing, you won't smudge it as much, because as you can see, I'm starting to smudge. So I'm just going to put a piece of paper to lay my hand on, and then I'm going to continue. So I'm just going to keep shading this really, really dark area down the bottom. I'm not shading in these tentacles here yet. So I'm having a look at my picture each time I'm adding another part in. I'm not just guessing. This bit in between this tentacle here kind of goes up a little bit more, like so. And then it goes around up here, goes down slightly, and then finishes there. There we go. So if it gets a bit blunt, your shading pencil, and you want to do a lighter tone, which we're going to do in a minute, I would sharpen it again. Or it will sharpen and break like mine just did. There we go, nice and sharp pencil again. So what we're going to do this time is we are going to go into doing the very, very top part of the jellyfish, the bit that's up here. The bit that's up here, so that it's quite dark up there. It's not as dark as this, but it's still a medium sort of tone. So I'm just going to go around the very, very top with a slight dark outline, because that's what it looks like on here. So I'm not pressing too hard, but I'm going slightly harder. And then up here, so I'm going to start off in the same direction. So all down here is quite dark. So I'm going in the same direction, and I'm not pressing too hard. Again, if you press too hard to begin with, and then it's wrong, you're going to have a harder time rubbing it out than if you just start light, and then if you decide that that's too light, then we can add another layer. But unfortunately it doesn't work in reversed. So there's another one there. This up here is darker. So I'm just adding in kind of all my medium to dark tones at the moment. This one goes down further there. And then you've got this one here that goes down to about there. There's another kind of dark area here as well that I'm just going to add in. There we go. And there's a small dark area just sitting over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make these outlines a bit more prominent so they stick out a bit more, because that's what they're doing on there. So once I'm happy with them, I can go over them. Right, now I'm going to go into a lighter tone up here. And again, I'm pressing very, very lightly. To be able to get this light pressure, I'm holding it quite high up the pencil. I'm not holding it right down here. So now I've had a look, obviously, this bit's not looking dark enough. So now I can go over that with the second layer. So that it's dark enough. There we go. And then I'm going to continue with the rest of them. So this one here is light down here, and it has kind of a dark line that goes up there. And then this bit up here needs to be a bit darker now. And you can see where I'm holding my pencil. I'm holding it quite high up. And if you struggle with this, give it a good practice, because it's good to be able to hold the pencil this high up, believe me. And we've got a bit of a dark area kind of across this bit here as well. So I'm going to do this bit quite light. There we go. And as you can see, the sharper the pencil is, the easier it is for you to go lighter with your pencil. So I'm going to continue with these. And then this bit up here I'm going to darken again, because it's not as dark as I need it to be. And then it's more wiggly on this side, so I'm just going to make that part wiggly. And then there's another bit that goes up in there that's quite dark. And there's another little line that goes up here too, actually. Okay, so that's why it's good to like observe and definitely check back and forward every time you're adding different shades, because I'm looking at it now and noticing things that I haven't put in. So this bit's quite dark here. And then I'm just going to add my lighter tone in, and then I'm just going to darken up this area here. So I'm just adding another layer in. There we go. And then my final one is up here. So I'm just going to make that slightly darker, because I've already learnt that I'm not doing it dark enough. And then I'm going to bring the lighter area down here, and then I'm just going to darken this area up slightly. And each time I'm looking back to see where these dark areas are supposed to go. And I'm always colouring in the same direction. We don't want loads of different directions, okay? So I'm happy with that at the moment. I'm going to put a line in there, because there's another line there. And there's quite a lot of dark area up here too. So then what we're going to do is then we can go in and start doing some of the background areas. So this bit up here is quite dark. So now I need to be going quite light, because this is the background. So I may even sharpen this again to make it quite nice and sharp, because again, it's a lot easier to press with lighter pressure when you have a nice sharp pencil. So that would be the background. And then what I can start doing is then making some of these lines, of outlining them a bit more, and I can go over different parts. So that would be the head part of it done. I don't think jellyfish have heads, but this area here, the body area. So now I'm going to show you how to do a tentacle. So these big ones down here we're going to do. So I will show you how I finished that, and I will put it on the PowerPoint. I'll show you the picture of it, but I'm not going to do it in a video because you'll be watching it forever otherwise. So we are going to move on to our other tentacles now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one here, because this one goes from dark up to light in some areas, but it's dotty. So what I'm going to use is, I'm just going to show you how to shade it. So this area here, the claw area, is really, really dark and goes up like this. And then it goes a bit lighter, like so. I'm just turning it around so it's easier for me to shade. Double checking that you can still see it. So it goes like that up to about here, and then it goes quite light. So I can then add in lighter areas. Like so. So I can shade them in. And this is why I said not to shade in the darker tentacles just yet. Just in case we might have made a mistake or you need to rub parts out. So I'm just going to go over that very, very lightly. And if you have cotton wool buds at home, you can smudge it like we do at school. Or you can just do it with your finger. It does the same thing, but a cotton wool bud obviously is a lot more precise because it's a lot smaller than your finger. But you can do it with your finger as well. And then I'm going to go around the outline again because it's kind of smudged it. And then you can see it's got a little bit of texture on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding some little kind of dots in, because you'll be able to see when you have a look at it. It's got little dots. And there's some really faint ones up here too, but I'm going to dot them like this because I don't want them to be too clear. So that is how you would do one of the tentacles. So what I'd like you to do is do all of the tentacles in tonal minus all the square ones. So all of these square ones that sit in the middle, all of these ones here, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, all the way down to here. None of them I don't want any tonal on. The rest of them, however, the tentacles I want tonal on. And then we're going to come back to do the Zentangle in the middle bit. But you'll be able to see from my picture that I upload as well.